So me, let's see. Now that window's kind of messing up the light. Got a streak across my face here, and I sort of. There we go. I'll do it that way. That way, that light coming through's not hitting me there. Okay, just I'll lean over like that. That'll get it. That'll get it. That extra light coming through was messing things up. Hey, Jeff, how are you? Good morning to you too. Trying to brace for the upcoming freeze. Well, that's good. How's the video and the audio? Loud and clear? Everything looking all right? Yeah, well, that's good. Now, where are you at, Jeff? Where where are you coming from? 5 by 5. What do you mean 5 by 5? I don't understand that. South California. Ooh, good gracious. Oh, good gracious. You're up early then. For out there. Yeah, you're up and at it early. Yeah, I don't know what 5 by 5 means. Yeah. Now, what part of Southern California you from? LA? Hespera. Okay. I don't know. What is that close to? I don't know where that's at. I've never heard of that town. LA to everybody. Okay, so it's engulfed by LA. Like a lot of that's like us. I'll one of these days I'll be noted as Charlotte because we're right outside of Charlotte. We're about 35 miles west of Charlotte, but Charlotte's going to suck up Gastonia before we know it, and Gastonia and Belmont. It's already part of the bigger part of Charlotte. San Bernardino County. Okay, yeah, yeah. It's been years since I was in California. Gosh, probably 40 years. It was 1980. So how many is that? Almost 50, close to 50 years, 45 years since I've been in California. So it's been a while since I've been out there, but it was more than I wanted back then. So I know it's got to be terrible now with all the traffic and everything else. I don't care. I don't care to be in California. I'm glad I went out there, and I'm glad I've been there before. But it's not my cup of tea. I was showing my wife yesterday. We were watching some. I think it was they were showing. There's a preliminary thing before the football game out in Los Angeles yesterday, and they were showing the beach scene. And I showed my wife. I paused the DVR. I said, "Look at here." I said, "Here's California's beaches," and it showed it, and it was like a cliff down to the beach, and the beach must not been more than 10 feet wide, 10 or 15 feet wide. And then there was somebody had an umbrella out there, and that was the beach. And then the water was coming right up against against the break, the mountain part of it because it sloped straight off. And I just didn't, that's just not my type of beach. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess traffic went away when they burned everything down, didn't it? Yeah. So how far are you from the Palisades and all that, where all the fire was? Yeah, yeah. I'm that's what gets me. I mean, the beaches. Well, I mean, when we think about the East Coast beaches, I mean they're long and wide. And I mean, we used to go down to Hilton Head a good bit. I mean, the beaches there were wide. I mean, and your land is flat getting out to the beach. It's not hilly like it is out in LA and everything, and just coming off and just going off a cliff and then down the cliff. Then you got a little 10-foot wide strip. That's not the beach for us out here. I mean, it's our beach. Our beaches out here. They're all the land on the East Coast. I mean, it's as flat as it can be right up against the ocean, and that's the difference. I mean, when we think of the beach, we think about uh, a lot flatter terrain than what they've got out there. Yeah, yeah, it's just different. But I mean, to each his own. I guess. I guess I'm spoiled with the East Coast. I like the way it looks out here on the East Coast, and when I think of the beach, I think of those wide beaches we have like that. Well, I guess I'm gonna be thinking of other things tomorrow because it's supposed to get cold out here tomorrow. I mean, we're supposed to get down to 10, and I'm not used to that. Yeah, I can understand that. I was looking at the tax rates, what 14% on the state tax, and whereas out here in North Carolina, we're what I don't like it as high as ours is. I think ours is 4.5%, but y'all's is 14%. I can't imagine the state taking that much more out, another 10% out of your paycheck just to misuse the government. I mean, they misuse so much stuff out there. It's just pathetic. And that brilliant governor you got out there who thinks he's going to be president. If the people put that idiot in as president, we deserve it, I guess. I mean, things would have to be extremely, extremely bad, I think, before that would happen. Yeah. Well, I tell you, I do not understand how people in California have put up with that man for so long. When they had that recount, they should have took him out. But he's just he's a rich kid who's trying to pretend to be an average kid, and he grew up with the Gettys, which are some of the richest people in the world. I mean, his family worked for the Gettys, and J. Paul Getty he was like Elon Musk of his day. I mean, that was crazy. And the other thing is he that's an oil family. They got rich on oil, and then he wants to tout about getting rid of oil and all kind of stuff. Yeah, and he's related to Pelosi. I mean, it just that's corrupt all the way up. I mean, who wants that kind of corrupt family governing anymore? And I don't want him in the United States. I mean, him being he, heck, if he was a neighbor of Pelosi, I wouldn't want him. But yeah, he's been so corrupt, it's pathetic. Yeah, I'm just not into that at all. Not into that at all. I tell you. But what do we do? What do we do? We put up with it, and we just have to combat it. I mean, the what we got to combat. I tell you what, and it seems to be the worst movement out there is the white liberal women who think that they are better than everybody, that they are, and they want to run down the white race. There they are, a member of the white race. There they are, uh, and they want to side. Uh, oh, we're sympathetic to the black. We're sympathetic to the Mexicans. They're sympathetic to anybody that is not part of their race that they are in. And I'm going, you're about as dumb as dirt. How can you be that way? But that's what we get sometimes. I mean, I hope those people don't repopulate, because we don't need more idiots like that. But unfortunately, we do. We get them, and how they influence that many people is pathetic. So every time I see there's one lady right now about as ugly as I've ever seen that's on these podcasts, and they've been showing her podcast, and she's one of the worst. I don't even know her name, but every time I see her, I want to go, yeah, I want to throw up when I see that ugly face. I mean, I don't know, she's blonde and she's wrinkled and just got one of the ugliest faces I've ever seen in my life. I don't even know if she's got some sort of podcast or something, but for some reason or other, she's been getting a lot of repeats, or I guess because all the outrageous stuff she talks about. Yeah, yeah, and that's what happens. I mean, they get the young white liberal women are so gullible. They're so gullible, it's pathetic. Good morning. How are you? I'm doing pretty good, Mr. Mopar. Yeah, I'm trying to brace myself up for the impending cold weather that we're going to get here in Cherryville, where I'm at. I'm here in Cherryville, North Carolina, which is 35 miles west of Charlotte. If y'all want to look me up on the map, you can look me up on Google. And I tell people a lot of times I'm between two towns. One side of me is Waco, the other side's Dallas, but that's North Carolina, not Texas. As I used to tell people, they'd hear my southern drawl and they'd say, "Where are you from?" I said, "Well, I live in a little town in between Dallas and Waco." They said, "Oh, you from Texas?" I go, "Texas has got a Dallas and a Waco." Yeah, they got one too, I guess. Yeah, I know it. I that just drives you crazy when you see these liberal women like that. Like we're saying, Jeff, it's that the white liberal women, the soccer moms that got nothing better to do than to get out and protest on things that they shouldn't even be protesting on. And the problem is how they can influence their husband or something. And then you gotta, of course, if you're married to a woman like that, I feel sorry for you. I'm not. I'm very proud to be married to a very strong-headed conservative. She's probably even more conservative than I. She is a strong woman. Yeah. Well, you have to. You have to. Uh, I that's the type in high school that you did that were too good for you anyway. So why would you even want to be around? I mean, that type that are already too good for you, they're already telling you how bad you are when you're even in high school, probably, Jeff. Yeah. Yeah, that you've got to have a when you look at beauty, you look at it way deeper. That's for sure. You look at somebody that's got a good heart and is a real good person, and that's what I've got that with my wife. My wife is a very decent person, a very thoughtful person, very sweet. I mean, if she can put up with me for 55 years. You know that she's a good woman. Yeah, she's a godsend, that's for sure. Very hardworking, very uh, you know, I couldn't ask for a better wife. And God gave me the best wife that I possibly could have asked for. That's for sure. And so I can't complain one bit about my wife. I mean, I loved her from the day that I met her, and that was back when I was in school. I was in high school when I fell for her. Yep, I am. Well, we're very blessed. We've been married 55 years. We dated for about 3 years, and during high school, we got married right out of high school, and have stuck together. It was tough to be a young married couple, but we persevered, and we've done okay for ourselves financially, and especially uh, for our children. I've got two lovely children, wonderful children, and a daughter and a son, and they're of course grown now. They're both my children are in their 50s. My son's 52, my daughter's 54, and we're I have a grandson that is 20, and he's a junior at NC State. So I'm uh, I'm blessed. No, my children went to the public school. My wife was actually a public school teacher. My wife taught school up here in Cherryville for 32 years, and she taught middle school math. She taught algebra and the advanced math. So my wife's a very smart girl. She's very good in math and everything else, and my children have been very good in math, and it's gone right on down the pipeline and everything. I'm decent in math. I'm not the whiz kid like my wife is. When it's math problems, I when it's tough math problems, when it's algebra type problems, I let her handle that, because I'm not the math whiz that she is. That's for sure. She definitely can figure them out, and rightfully so. And I'm glad, because my my son is an electrical engineer. He graduated at NC State as an electrical engineer, and his son is now studying to be a mechanical engineer. He's a junior at NC State. So we've got the math background in the family. Well, I'm glad you was able to step in here, Jeff. You have a Merry Christmas too, if I don't see you before then or here, and have a good New Year also. Glad you're able to drop in for a few minutes. Of course, it's early out there. You gotta get up and get breakfast. I've already had breakfast, so get out and have you something to eat, and get yourself stirred up and going. And that's a good thing to do out there in California. Right now, I'm gonna try to brace for a cold winter days tomorrow. Tomorrow I've got uh, we're looking at, like I said, almost 10. It's supposed to get down to 10 degrees here in Cherry, and I am not looking forward to that at all. Not at all. Well, get your coffee and get going then. Get yourself going, and I'll see you out here at another time then, Jeff. Right now, I'm gonna just like I said, brace for the cold tomorrow. The cold is like I said, we're not used to 10 degrees. Now it's a cold snap. They're calling it a Canadian Arctic blast, and I hope it don't. I hope it blasts and get out of here. I think the next day we're supposed to get back up to like 20 for the low, but that's still cold. That's still plenty cold for here. I don't like that. Yeah. Now, where are you at, Mopar? Twisted Mopar. Where are you at? You're up north a little bit, aren't you? Aren't you up around Pennsylvania or somewhere? Or am I getting that twisted up? Yeah. Now, what's your location? Central Illinois. Okay, yeah, yeah. You got some snow the other day, didn't you? Didn't they get some snow in Central Illinois? I know I watch a couple podcasts from guys that have got in Indiana and Illinois, and they had some snow. They had about 4 or 5 inches of snow the other day. I don't know exactly which part, but um, you just missed it. Okay, I went north of you. Okay, yeah. Now, what town are you in Illinois? I mean, everybody thinks Chicago is the whole state, and Chicago is just a small part of it. Are you're probably south of Chicago, then, aren't you? Of course, I don't think the Chicago area got much snow either. I don't, I haven't kept up with it. I don't have trucks. Okay, you're south of Springfield, about 59 miles. Okay, yeah, I know about where you're at. Yeah, I haven't been up in that area in a long time either. It's been well, not quite as long as it has been since I was in California, but last time I was in Chicago, Illinois area, I was um, oh, let's see, when was that? That was probably that's probably around 2000. Yeah, probably around 2000. Probably 25 or 30 years since I've been up there. And like I said, I'm an old Southern boy. I'm gonna stay down here in the South. I like it down here in the South. It's uh, the temperatures are uh, until you get into the extremes of what we're coming up on are pretty good. You've been in that same area your whole life, yeah. And everybody's like that. I mean, you get if you get your family and everybody acclimated to a certain area, uh, you wanna stay there. And this is home. This is home for me. I mean, I was born in York, South Carolina, and uh, my dad moved the family to Cherryville, North Carolina, when he got a job at Carolina Freight Carriers, which was a big trucking concern, a big trucking outfit back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and on. Got bought out by ABF or merged with ABF. And so we no longer have our big trucking company here in Cherryville. And so, that's Cherryville is, I mean, I've lived in this town most of my life. I think we were about, I think we came up here, like I said, in the early 50s, probably around 53, 54. I was born in 51. So, this has been home for me most of my life. I mean, I don't remember ever living in South Carolina. We lived there a few years. Like I said, I was born in South Carolina. I was born in York, and we lived a few years down there on a farm that Dad had down in South Carolina. But we moved into North Carolina, like I said, in the early 50s, and I've lived here all my life, or the rest of my life so far, and hopefully rest of all my life. I don't intend to live anywhere else than right here where I'm at, and I've put my roots down hard and deep, and that's where I'm gonna stay. I don't have I've had a vacation home in Hilton Head uh, when we had our trucks down in Georgia. I had a place in Hilton Head, but now that all that's gone, I've sold off all my trucks. I'm I'm back. I've concentrated on buying the family farm up, and we've got our farm here in Cherryville. And if I can maintain my farm, I've got about 80 something acres. If I can maintain this farm and keep everything going there, that's all I need to do. I'm not a rich man. I'm well off. I'm comfortable. I'm not rich, but I'm comfortable. well, I guess some people may say I'm rich, but I'm not. I'm not what I used to think is rich. I mean, uh, I've got money in the bank. I've got land. I got assets. I own 4 or 5 commercial buildings. That's my, income, you might say, or additional income other than, I don't have to rely on Social Security or anything like that. So, I'm sustainable, hopefully the rest of my life, and then, have a little bit left to pass on to my children after I'm gone. And that's what my goal in life is to, enjoy the rest of my life. That's the reason I get out here and do this podcast once a week. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy conversing with everybody and, and having a good, wholesome life. And hopefully I'm conveying that. I, I do have uh, I guess I've been involved with a lot of things during life. And like I said, with my trucking company and a lot of other things. And plus I do some DJ work. That's why you see this microphone out here. I do DJ work on the side. Even now, I'm a substitute. I don't want to do full time DJ work. I do a substitute DJ for a company called Jukin Oldies. So you can, if you've ever heard me on, I know some of you out there have heard me on jukinoldies.com. You know, every once in a while you'll catch me out there, and I'll be playing the oldies. I play oldies and beach music, and that's what I enjoy doing. And that keeps me, keeps the old brain working. As I get older, I got to keep the brain stimulated. Hello, how are you, Nico? Okay, 3:30. I don't know. I haven't ever spoken to you. I don't think. Now, where are you chiming in from? But that's what I do. And like I said, I'm just sitting back and relaxing a little bit today. We had a family get together yesterday. My wife's family. We once a year we try to get all her siblings down here because this is the family farm where I live. We bought the okay. Okay, well, I'm glad it did. I'm glad you were to check me out. Now, where are you coming from? Now that you've caught my page, where did it? I guess YouTube. I guess the algorithm must have thrown my page out there to you. That happens. Oh, Southeast Asia. Okay, well, cool. Well, which part of South in Vietnam? That's what we used to call Southeast Asia. I mean, I'm of the Vietnam era age. Uh, I mean, I didn't have to go to Vietnam. I was never in the military, but I'm of that age. Malaysia. Okay. Well, good. Good. I'm glad to have you here in from Malaysia. So you're late at night. Is it late at night there? What time? You're probably 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, aren't you? If you're in Malaysia, 11 o'clock. Okay. 11 o'clock at night. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're able to join us. I'm here in North Carolina, is where I'm at. So I can give you some direction. If you want to look up on Google Maps, I'm in Cherryville, North Carolina. You can just type that in. You'll see the little small town in North Carolina is where I'm coming from right now. And, you can just try to imagine what it is here. It's cold here. I don't know how's the weather in Malaysia. I have never been overseas that far. I've only been on I've never been overseas period like that. Never been to Malaysia. I've seen it in videos but of course, no offense at my age, I don't want to venture out that far. I'm not ever going to, unless something unforeseen happens, I'll never venture out that far. even if I had the money to do it, I wouldn't be venturing out. I'm just not. I'm too much right here. Yeah, yeah. What is the temperature in Malaysia right now? What is the weather like? I mean, our weather, we're almost winter time. The winter has not set in yet. It won't set in till a little over a week from now. What's the day? The 14th. Raining quite a lot. Okay. Yeah. Right. Well, we're dry right now, but it's cold. Uh, and of course we are Fahrenheit degrees, but it's supposed to get down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit here in North Carolina in the morning, which is pretty cold for us. And of course, the people up north, I think they're going to get down to single digits or less. I hear some of them up in Indiana and Pennsylvania are bracing for about 0 degrees. So it's going to be a cold day tomorrow. It's going to be cold out there, that's for sure. But that's what happens when uh, I'm not going to worry about the weather. I can't change it. You just deal with it. Excuse me. And in my case, we just prepare for it. We had to go drain out the irrigation pump yesterday. My wife and I did, and then we're going to have to prepare, make sure that all the water and everything and all the different places is not, make sure it's running some, so we don't have anything freezing up. But other than that, we're not going to worry about it. Hopefully, it's going to be just a quick snap to cold and then get back to a little bit normal temperatures. But we don't know. We have to kind of brace for it for one day. It's a little bit chilly out there today, also. Hey, Jamie, I'm glad to see you pop in here. You've been hiding somewhere, Jamie? Yeah. Been talking to somebody from Malaysia. Have you ever been overseas to Malaysia or anywhere, Jamie? I've never been overseas like that. I've been like Jamie. I've been up and down the East Coast and out to the West Coast a little bit, and into Mexico one time. Ah, you're in Syracuse. Well, that's about as far north as I want to get around there. Me, I don't care to be in Syracuse. Snow, 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 and more snow. Yeah, you're gonna have to get on back down to Florida, aren't you? Yeah, you're probably missing Florida right now. Yeah, I wouldn't care for the snow that the East Coast is getting, or the cold weather. They're getting some pretty bad cold weather up that way. So I'm just I've watched Mike Morgan's show, Outdoors with the Morgans. I watch him, and he's been showing plowing snow and different things. And there's a couple other podcasts I watch from up there, and those I don't envy anybody that has to mess with snow. And being in the trucking business all these years, I definitely did not like snow. Of course, I kept most of my routes southern, so I didn't have to deal with it too much. Hey, Nova, you got a lot of snow. Now, what's your location, Nova? I have to think about yours. I know Jamie's out of the Boston area normally, but he's in Syracuse today. But now where are you coming from, Nova? Long Island. Ooh, yeah. Boy, I tell you what, yeah, I hope y'all. I hope for the best for the city of New York this next year at when the communist guy gets a hold of everything. I just don't know what's going to happen up there. It really confuses me. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's I pity the people that have to put up with Kathy Hochul and the new communist guy. Kathy Hochul bad enough as governor, uh, but this Mondami or whatever, I just cannot fathom what these people are going to be putting up with when all the ridiculous things that guy thinks he can implement in the city of New York. If if he doesn't, uh, um, I mean, New York is notorious lately for putting some of the worst politicians in place that I've ever seen in my life. I just don't understand it. Yeah, a little bit. Long Island's a little bit different than, and you're not Long Island. Now, are y'all? Is Long Island part of? Are y'all governed by Mondami? Is he or does Long Island have their own mayor out there? I'm not 100% sure how all that works. Long Island is actually not part of New York City, is it, or is it? I don't know. I'm not that familiar. No. Okay, you've got your own politics. In other words, you're not part of New York City proper, which is Mondami's. Okay, that's what I was thinking. The Long Island. I mean, you think in your mind you think New York City when you think of Long Island, but Long Island is actually well, it is the Long Island outside of New York City, but it's not part of downtown proper New York City, which Mondami controls. Yeah, no city. Okay, well that's good. That's good, but you still have Kathy Hochul still got you by the sweet and I tell you the short and curlies, I guess. Yeah, probably would be good if you could. Yeah. Well, you got all this tradition. They're sucking all that tax money away from you. They're not going to let you break away. But you're probably Long Island's is probably as big as Delaware anyway. Yeah. Am I for Mondami? Heck no. Mondami. I mean, anybody. Mondami is an idiot. That's he is he's a communist. That well he's saying uh, he he's a a democratic socialist. He's a communist, though, is what he is. He's going to ruin New York. Yeah, it just baffles me that the New Yorkers. I mean, it goes to show you how backwards that city is on things like. I mean, he's going to ruin it. He's going to, in reality, ruin some things. No, he's a socialist. He's a socialist, 100%. Yeah, and he's gonna ruin New York City. Uh, uh, Bellagio, he tried his best to, and he stole money. I mean, what was that? His wife was in charge of something that was worth some sort of NGO worth of they had about $1 billion, and they don't even know where the money went. Of course, it probably went in his pockets. I would say his pockets got lined pretty good. So who am I for? Anybody other than him. That's who I'm for. Anybody that could go in there and do something decent. I mean, let a Republican run this city for once in a while. I mean, the last time they had a Republican mayor up there, he did a fantastic job. But you know, I mean, Rudy Giuliani did a fantastic job when he was up there. That's probably the last. And I'll give it to old Bloomberg. He did a decent job. But anybody since Bloomberg didn't have common sense, didn't know how to govern, did not know how to run a business. I mean, you got to have business sense to be able to run something that large. I mean, that's that economy is bigger than some states' economies, and to let some idiot that's a communist run that much with that little knowledge. I mean, that guy he has no working knowledge of anything. He's never owned a business. He's never worked for the private sector. I mean, people need to be able to work in the private sector, I think, before they can get out there and just tell everybody what to do. I mean, their concept of what goes on in the real world. I mean, I'll give you an example. I told my son when he came out as an engineer and went to work for the company he's still with, actually, but when he went to work for Reliance Electric, I told him, I said, son, get out there in the shop. Get out there in the shop where the men are actually putting these motors together. You become friends with the people that are actually doing the work, and they can show you things about how things need to be engineered way better than you can inside on a desk. I said, inside on a desk, everything is perfect. Out there in the real world where the machines are being made, they're less than perfect. They're not perfect. And things don't always work how you designed them to work. So you get out there in the real world and you get a lot more insight. And I think that works good for everything in life. I mean, you've got to be able to be in the real world, because the real world is different than this fantasy that people have inside an office. I mean, I asked Jamie out there. Jamie works in the real world, solving problems for real people, as opposed to engineers. I mean, engineers are great. Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that my son and my grandson both are engineers, because we do need them. But they also have to have a taste of reality to be able to solve problems better. Because if you don't have the taste of reality, you're not going to solve problems. And that's the same way with social problems. That's the same way with mechanical problems. That's the same way with anything that we got in life. You can't be in your basement working on a computer and thinking you can solve the world's problems. You're not going to do it. You're going to have to get out in the world. I mean, when I was in the trucking business, I did a lot of office work. We had to do a lot of things on the phone, but I got out there in the real world. I worked with my mechanics. I worked with my drivers. I drove the trucks myself. I worked on trucks myself. I knew how the trucking business worked inside and out. And that's why I feel like I was successful because of that. Yeah, that's true. That is so true. I mean, you can't, you can never. I mean, everybody used to look down on blue collar workers. The blue collar, if it wasn't for the blue collar workers, this world would collapse. This world would collapse. We cannot build buildings without blue collar workers. We cannot build roads. We cannot transport things without blue collar workers. We cannot. Every facet of our life depends on the actual worker, the actual skilled worker, or even the unskilled worker that works along with them. They need that kind of person. That's what is the backbone of the United States. We got too many engineers, doctors, and lawyers that try to control things. I mean, we need lawyers, we need doctors, we need teachers, but we need teachers that can teach a reality based study. We have too many teachers that have gone way too liberal. And that's my opinion about teachers. And my wife was a teacher. She was a teacher for 32 years. And of course, my wife is very conservative also. She understands this and she gets irritated when you've got liberal minded teachers that want to inundate or indoctrinate our young people on the wrong way of thinking. So there's a lot of theory between all that. Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's right, John. I mean, you can, and that's why I told my son. I said, you go out to work with the workers out there in the plant. I said they will help you solve your problems a lot quicker than if you try to sit in the office and tell them what to do, because they can show you real world situations that you can put a lot more. I mean, even though in theory something may need to work on paper, in real life it may not. Yeah. Well, and that's, knowledge is king, that's for sure. I'll give you an example. I had an uncle that was a fixer in a mill down in Clover, South Carolina. Uh, he was good at what he was a good mechanic. Good. He was good automotive mechanic. He was good with his hands, really good. And Uncle Gene used to. I remember we were visiting with him one Sunday, and he got a phone call, and I said, "Gene, can you come in and fix something?" And I looked at him. I said, "Uncle Gene," I said, "that's terrible that they're calling you in on Sunday." He said, "Oh, no, no, no." So I love it. He said, "I love it." And he said, "Why is that?" And he said, "Because I'm the only one that knows how to fix that." And he said, "They call me because I know how to fix it, and I'll fix that and be on my way." And he said, "I don't mind it at all." He said, "Because they pay me a full day's pay to come in." He said, "I can fix it probably in 15 to 20 or 30 minutes and be back home." He said, "But I'll get a full day's pay out of that." And he said, "Okay." I said, "I guess I can see that." And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, why don't you teach some of the other people?" He said, "No, I'm not going to teach them what I know." He said, "Because that will cut me out." He said, "They need me." And then when you create the need, you got the skill. You don't want to lose that. So he was very protective of his knowledge. He was good at it, but he was protective of his knowledge, not to give it to just any Tom, Dick, and Harry that could duplicate what he knew. And they knew he knew how to fix it really good. So he would get called in and get to working right quick and make some good fast money that way. So that's knowledge is king. Knowledge is king. You don't have to be the engineer. You don't have to be the doctor, but I mean, you can be, in charge of your skills as a worker. That's knowledge too. You get out and watch a guy on a bulldozer that can do things. I mean, a bulldozer is a bulldozer. I mean, some people can run them, some people can't. Some people are really skilled on them, some people aren't. And when you see the skilled worker like that, I mean, there's some of these people out there. I mean, it's like a work of art. I watch a lot of different people on equipment. I like watching equipment videos. Some people know how to run equipment. Some people just know how to operate equipment. They can get out there and play with it. But some people really know how to are skilled, and they can make something really nice out of equipment. Some people they're digging big holes, and that's all they're doing. So it's a skill to be able to operate equipment good, uh, whether it be a bulldozer, whether it be a truck, whether it be carpentry work, whether whatever these different skills, plumbing. I mean, you can fight with plumbing all day long. If you don't know what you're doing, you can make a mess of things. And you've got to you can get the right plumber, call out the right plumber, and they can fix things in minutes, which would take you hours. And that's why they get paid good too. So these things are different. Everybody has different knowledge, and like my granddad used to say, uh, I remember him pointing out a guy one time, uh, and this guy had all kind of college degrees and everything. And my granddad's explanation was, well, that poor boy there said he is educated way beyond his intelligence. And I always thought that was as good a slogan as anything, because uh, there are a lot of people that are educated. They've got the degrees, but their intelligence is way down here at the bottom. And, they're not smart. They're just educated. If you ask them a book question, they can answer it. If you have them to actually do it, they couldn't do jack squat. And that's what happens out there. You may have an engineer that can tell you how to fix something, but say, well, go ahead and fix it then. He wouldn't have a first inkling on how to get it done. So there's a lot of skill to the unskilled worker and the laborer. They have a way more skill. I mean, you go out there and, I mean, I know the concept of welding, and I can weld a little bit. But you can see some guys, oh, they can lay down a bead that looks beautiful. You can get out there with the same welding equipment, the best welding equipment available, and you can get out there and you looks like a bird's nest, or bird poop, you might say, when you're trying to weld. So it's skill. There's a lot of skill on the doing things like that. Well, guys, I'm about talked out this morning. It's cold, and I'm gonna have to get out and do some work outside and do my skills of preparing some of the cold equipment we got out here. I got to get things prepared for this 10-degree weather, and hopefully next week I'm not coming back telling you about all the pipes that I had busted. So I'm gonna get out of here. I've talked enough this morning. I've enjoyed it. Had a lot of different people in, and I'm glad to see everybody out here. Y'all take care.